All right, today we're diving deep into one of the most incredible predators on the entire planet. We're talking about an animal that defines power and precision in a way you've probably never even thought about. So let's just jump right in. Okay, let me just start with a question. What if I told you there's a big cat out there? One that hunts like nothing else. I mean, it completely bypasses the neck and goes straight for the skull, crushes it, with a single devastating bite. And get this, that's not even the whole story. This same cat, it'll actually hunt crocodiles in the water, in their own territory. And it climbs trees just like a leopard, but it's also totally at home in the river. It's wild. So if you're thinking of a lion out on the savannah, or maybe a tiger deep in the jungles of Asia, nope, you're not even on the right continent. This is the jaguar, the true apex predator of the Americas. And as we're about to break down in this explainer, this cat, it is just built differently. So to really get what makes the jaguar so special, we've got to start with its physical toolkit. I mean, this is an arsenal that's been perfected over millions of years. And it all starts with one number, 1,500 psi. That's pounds per square inch. Seriously, just try to wrap your head around that. That is the insane force of a jaguar's bite. It's a level of power that's just hard to even imagine. But, that number by itself doesn't even tell the whole story. Pound for pound, a jaguar's bite is almost twice as powerful as a lion's. So this isn't just about raw strength. It's about concentrated, incredibly efficient power. And all that power makes a very specific, and let's be honest, a terrifying technique possible. It's called the canine shear bite. So forget about grabbing the throat like other big cats. No, the jaguar drives its canines like daggers with surgical precision right between the temporal bones of the skull, straight into the brain. It's just lethal evolutionary engineering. Now, when you think of this kind of power, you might picture the mysterious Black Panther, right? But is that a totally different animal? Well, it's one of the biggest misconceptions out there. The answer is simple. Nope. If you see a Black Panther in the Americas, what you're actually looking at is a jaguar. It's the same species with all the same power, the same incredible predator. So here's the deal. That black coat comes from a genetic mutation called melanism. It just means there's a ton of extra dark pigment. And it's not just for show. This gives them a massive advantage. I mean, can you imagine a better camouflage for the deep shadows of the rainforest? And hey, while we're on the topic of camouflage, let's talk about the normal coat. Those spots, they're called rosettes. And here's a cool detail. Unlike a leopard's, jaguar rosettes have these little dots right in the middle. This whole pattern is just a masterclass in blending in. It breaks up their outline in the dappled jungle light, so they stop looking like an animal and start looking like moving shadows. Okay, so this incredible design, this whole package, it lets the jaguar totally dominate a very specific kind of place. An environment that most other big cats, they want nothing to do with. Water. We're talking about water. I mean, think about it. Most cats hate water, right? Not jaguars. They are completely at home in it. They'll swim just for fun, they hunt fish, and they absolutely thrive in places like the Pantanal in Brazil, these huge flooded wetlands. That's actually where you'll find more jaguars than anywhere else on Earth. And being a master of the water leads to one of the most insane matchups in the entire animal kingdom, jaguar versus caiman. It's the perfect showcase of their strategy. It's like a three-act play. First, there's the silent stalk, right up to the edge of the water. Then, bam, that skull-piercing bite we talked about. And finally, the incredible display of power as it drags this massive reptile right out of the water and onto the land. So, you take that power, you combine it with that strategy, and the jaguar becomes something more than just an animal. For thousands of years, it was worshipped as a god. But today, that god is in serious trouble. Yeah, I mean, if you look at ancient civilizations, the Maya, the Aztecs, the Olmecs, the jaguar was everything. It was the ultimate symbol of power. It represented the knight, the underworld, a gatekeeper. Rulers actually believed jaguars could walk between our world and the spirit world. But being a god, well, that hasn't been enough to protect it. The jaguar has lost almost half of its original territory, and we're talking about a massive area that once stretched from the southern US all the way down to Argentina.
And the reasons why, well, they're tragically familiar, aren't they? You've got massive deforestation for farming, you've got conflicts with cattle ranchers who are just trying to protect their livestock, you've got their habitats being chopped up into little pieces, and on top of all that, the illegal wildlife trade is still a huge problem.
So, what can we do? Is anything being done? Well, one of the most amazing conservation efforts happening right now is something called the Jaguar Corridor Initiative. The idea is huge to basically create a network of safe pathways connecting habitats all the way across the continent. This gives the jaguars room to roam, to hunt, to find mates, because at the end of the day, if their homes aren't connected, even an apex predator can't make it. All right, so let's bring this all together. What's the big takeaway here? It's that the jaguar isn't just a predator. It's something more. It's an architect. It literally shapes the continent it calls home. And this is maybe the best way to think about it. You know, a cheetah, that's all about speed. A lion, that's about teamwork, the social hunt. But the jaguar, it's a patient, calculating ambush strategist. It's all about stealth, a sudden explosion of power, and that surgical bite. It doesn't waste energy chasing. It calculates. And that really sums it all up, doesn't it? The jaguar doesn't need a big pride. It doesn't need to be the fastest animal out there. It survives and thrives because of its intelligence and its raw, adaptable power. And in doing that, this predator that you almost never see, it actually helps keep its entire ecosystem healthy and in balance. You know, maybe the craziest part of all of this is that we're still learning so much about this ghost of the jungle. It really makes you wonder, if an animal this big, this powerful, can stay so hidden and mysterious, what other secrets is the Amazon holding on to?